Pleasure without God is sin. Hello, happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Rosaries with Father Pat. February 8th, 2026. Welcome back, everyone. I think about the prodigal son, and every time I do, I learn something a little bit different. And I heard something said a while ago, really kind of stuck with me. But as I've said before, in the beginning of this gospel, Luke chapter 15, verses 11 to 32, there is a man with two sons, and one day one son comes to him and says, I would like my inheritance. Okay, so Father gives it to him. Now, an inheritance usually is reserved till after a person passes away. Yes, there are like grandparents that gift money to their grandchildren or put some in trusts, but essentially an inheritance waits until after a person passes away. Quite literally, this son, in so many words, told his father, I wish you were dead, or I can't wait for you to die. It's a very hurtful thing to say to a father. So it's a hurtful thing to say to anybody, I can't wait for you to die. Okay? Very unfortunate thing to say. And the father gave this young man his inheritance, and he was off on his merry. And yes, this young man went off and squandered every last cent of it. Okay? And he ended up working, tending to the pigs on someone's farm. And as hungry as he was, the law said you cannot have anything to do with pigs because they were unclean animals. So the pigs ended up eating more and better than he did. And eventually he decided to go back to the father. And of course, there was a celebration. I thought he was dead. He came back. Now, there is some discussion here that, well, okay, did he go back because, wow, I really missed my father? Or did he merely say to himself, you know what, I'm going to go back there because I had food, I had shelter, I had a warm bed, I'm going to go back. Okay? Did he go back because he loved his father? Or did he go back because he wanted a nice home and a good meal? Okay, there are some that wonder, this son, did he eventually save enough money to leave the father again? I hope not. And yes, I realize that this is a parable, but I hope someone in this situation didn't think, hey, wait a minute. He's going to go, I'm just going to save up my money and I'm going to leave again. That would be even more hurtful. Okay. But I want to take a look at this from another perspective. Okay, is pleasure without God sin? Okay, let's take a look at that for a minute. So maybe, because obviously this is a parable, that this son went away from the father. Okay? And whatever grace, whatever spirituality, whatever anything that had built up inside him, practicing his faith in his life, was squandered. His faith was lost. He didn't do anything in faith. He only did things for worldly pleasure. Well, how can something that is pleasure be a sin if God is not part of it? Okay, here's one. Let's go through some of the cardinal sins for a moment, okay? Now, how about rest? How about a day off, a day to recuperate? God tells us that, that seventh day, that's the Lord's day. It is a day of rest. It's also a day, to practice our faith. If we are just sitting around to do nothing, to just basically sleep, whatever, it becomes the sin of sloth. Now, you have a day off, go to worship, give thanks to God for this day off. Thank him for it. And then all of a sudden it becomes godly. It's God's gift and meant for you to enjoy. All right? How about gluttony? There is nothing wrong with enjoying a good meal. Heaven knows I have enjoyed probably way too many myself. But enjoying a meal. You give thanks to God for that meal, thankful to have something to eat. It becomes godly. But if you just eat for pleasure, you just eat for satisfaction. Now, you can enjoy what you eat. I go to the diner sometimes. I will go to a restaurant and I can enjoy what I have. Okay, sorry, I don't live on gruel and water all day long. No. But even in a restaurant, I give thanks. Could be leftovers, could be a sandwich. I give thanks. Could just be a cup of coffee. Give thanks. You thank God for it. And you also do not eat. You can enjoy your food, enjoy what you have, but you don't eat just out of pleasure. Well, I'm stuffed, but I really like this dish. I'm gonna eat more of it. Congratulations, you have just stepped into the world of gluttony. Give thanks and don't carry out this necessary. We need to eat, but don't carry it out to excess. Don't use it for just pure pleasure, and give thanks. After marriage, the act between a man and a woman is a gift from God. We celebrate the union in the ceremony of marriage. Husband and wife should give thanks for each other every day. It is an act that something God gave to us. But these days, people are engaging in the act just for pleasure and outside of marriage, and excessively too. I saw a video. I learned a new term, body count. This version of the term is how many people you've been with. This woman said she was with 500 different men. Okay, it is outside of marriage and it's done purely for pleasure. Congratulations, you've crossed over into lust. Now, something else. Being passionate or emotional about something. Our greatest artists were passionate about what they did. Inventors, passionate about what they do. You give thanks to God for your talent. You pray for guidance. Okay, it's something godly. And, you know, somebody told me years ago, according to Oriental medicine, my personality type is fire. And fire can be a very, very good thing. It means you're impassioned about things. As one person told me, yeah, Pat, you kind of don't do things halfway, don't you? You wouldn't be happy. And I tell you, I thank God for this ability to be impassioned, for all that I am successful, and for all that I learned through failure. But that impassioned feeling, that emotion, without God, without control, becomes wrath. Okay? You can look at all the sins that are around us, and moderated, controlled, and as God teaches us, they are very good things. But the moment it becomes an earthly pleasure or an earthly desire, absent of God, it becomes sin. And, you know, there are people that realize that just worldly pleasure alone is not enough. It doesn't make them happy. Just like the prodigal son, he was no longer happy because he was not, his grace was spent. It was lost. He was not with God anymore. So, you know, things just weren't the same with him. He didn't enjoy that pleasure as if he was still with his Father, with God. Again, he could have been a person who was enjoying elaborate meals, company of women, brought him no joy. And you see this with people these days. The things that they want to give them joy and happiness, that they try to have happiness without God. What happens? These things become addictions. These things trap people. These things become their false gods. Okay? So, don't let them become the false gods. Don't let them become a purely worldly pleasure. You know, that trip I took last week to Atlantic City, I prayed to God before I left, prayed to God when I got there, thanking him for a safe journey. Before and after the trip home, thank God that I got home safely. Thank God for where I was. Thanked God for the company of good friends. Thanked God for a beautiful weekend. Lots of people I don't see very often in the martial arts world. Thank God for all of it. And I was really happy to have it. It was joy. It was, come on, now I got to go home. But because everything is through God, I take a greater joy in it. And, you know, even when I'm not doing anything particularly special, because all things I do through God, hopefully, mostly because I'm not perfect. Like I tell my friends, this doesn't make me perfect. I don't play holier than thou, because I'm not. I struggle and I try my best, like all of you do. Okay? But I've also noticed too that some people, when they have those quiet times, they're bored, they're depressed, They want to do something that... Serving God has given me joy even in the simplest of moments. A quiet moment when I get to sit down and rest a little bit from whatever I was doing. I thank God. Okay? I enjoy that. Knowing that what I do every day is through God. Well, let's put it this way. Some people tell me, wow, Pat, you smile a lot, don't you? Somebody told me that the day I was ordained. And I got news for you. Never used to be that way. But now it is. So I tell you, do not leave the Father. Do not squander his grace and his love. Okay? Do all things through him, with him, for him. And feel that joy, that happiness, that contentedness. People who do things through God with their entire lives, you notice they tend to be very content and very happy, even though they don't have as much as other people. But through God, they find joy in all things. And I hope you do too. So for today, Sunday, February 8th, 2026, this is Father Pat Contreras with coffee and rosary, saying now more than ever to love one another as God loves you.